our lifestyle, sedentary routine, daily sitting or daily standing all day, it causes not only problems in the lower back, which is most common, but also in the middle and upper back because of all the stress in the shoulders. My name is Karina. I'm an instructor here, invited by Oneworld Retreat Center, Ubud. Now let me tell you a little bit about pain in back. It all has to do with our posture, mainly. It can also be caused of, due to a born condition on your spine with a certain kind of difference in the curves in your spine. But mostly, and the most common that many people suffer, is because of the bad posture. And this has to do because of our lifestyle. Most of the time for people that live in the city, have jobs where they require to be or standing for long hours or sitting for long hours. And when they don't have the proper strength in their spine, they start modifying their posture, most of the time closing the shoulders or creating some compression in the lower back. So this video has the intention to show a short sequence of different asanas, and I'm going to divide them in asanas especially to help for pain in the lower back. Then I will go for the middle back and then for the upper back. Some of them may benefit both or the whole spine, so I will let you know as well. So I'm going to start with pain in the lower back. This usually goes for people that are having some kind of lordosis, or they exaggerate the curve in the lower back. And what happens is like a sensation of compression in the vertebrae when standing for so long. When there is not a natural shape in your lower back, the weight goes too much to the lower back, and that's when the pain starts to project or to feel. So we're going to begin with a child pose. And I'm using now a bolster, but if you don't have handy a proper bolster like a yoga bolster, you can use any kind of cushion or pillows that you have at home, and just place them as many as you need, because some of them are very fluffy. So place them until you have enough height for you to feel comfortable resting laying down. So what I will do is I start with my knees open a little bit wider than my hip. I don't want them to have exactly the alignment under my iliac bone. I want them to be slightly more open. And notice my feet, I'm going to move them touching my big toes in the center. Once I'm here, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to place the bolster not all the way down to my pubic bone, but maybe halfway to my legs. Once I'm here, I still feel the heaviness of my hip. I want to sit back, and very slowly I'm going to rest my spine and any side of your head you want to, allowing the elbows to relax. I can stay here 5 minutes easily. It can be a little bit longer, 7 or 8 minutes. And to get out of the pose, I slowly push with my hands and straighten my spine. Now I'm going to do some variations. Many people also have some injury or just discomfort in the joint of the knee and the ankle and cannot go all the way down to the heels. So if that's the case, I need to protect the joints, and I will place another similar kind of bolster of pillows between my buttocks and my heels. That will give me some height to make sure that I can stay for longer and feel comfortable in my legs, and rest with the chest in your bolster. Just another variation, if it's uncomfortable for you to go all the way down, I can use blocks. If you don't have blocks, books under my bolster. Use the height that you need, and this will allow to move it higher. That way I don't have to bend forward that much. I can keep it a little bit higher and rest comfortably. After you have done your child pose, I'm going to go again to my tabletop pose. Because we have stayed maybe around 5 minutes, maybe I need to stretch my legs. So once that I move to my tabletop pose, try to recover the alignment. Now I am aware that I have my knee exactly under my iliac bone, and I'm going to straighten back my right leg Try to push a little bit the heel back, try to push your thigh towards the sky, and give yourself maybe 2, 3 long breaths, and then you switch to the other side. Good. This will give some lubrication to your knee and allow you to again go to the floor, resting both knees down. Now I'm sure that you have seen the cat-cow breathing. This is a very common movement that we can do in a vinyasa and a hatha or any kind of restorative pose, because it's very, very gentle with the spine and will allow you to start lubricating and creating some space between your vertebrae. So first I'm going to explain the proper alignment. You need to make sure that your wrists are exactly under the shoulders. As I said, the knees under the iliac bones. Try to have your fingers wide open because you have some weight in your hands, so you will feel pressure in the wrist. So to avoid any kind of pain, try to feel that you're pressing a little bit harder with your thumb and your index. Once that you're here, what you want to do is every inhale, you want to emphasize in the shoulder, and this is very important. In the shoulder, I want to rotate the soft part of the elbow facing front, the skin of the shoulder want to go back, and I want you to notice the movement in the lower back. So when I inhale, I open the shoulder and I separate. Notice the word that I'm saying, separate your sacrum from the rest of your vertebrae and your spine. And why is this important? Because there's a very common mistake that you think that you want to pop out your buttocks or roll your buttocks up. When we do that, when we do the intention of rolling the buttocks up, what I'm doing is actually compressing the vertebrae of my lower back, my lumbars. And we don't want that. We don't want to compress. We want to extend. So instead of thinking that I'm rolling my buttocks up, think of separating the sacrum, that like triangle shape bone that you have at the end, almost at the end before the coccyx of your spine. You want to move it to the wall behind you. So try not to emphasize too much the movement of your lower back, but you do want to emphasize the movement in your shoulders. So just for a purpose of showing, I'm going to do it 5 times. I go to a normal breathing, and then I start my inhale, opening shoulders, gentle look up. And in my exhale, I push strongly with my hands, and I round deeply my upper back and roll the buttocks down. Look at your navel. In my next inhale, I repeat. In my exhale, I round. It doesn't matter the length of your breaths, just go on your own rhythm. I go for the last 2. And the last one. And I take a break. If you need to rest, you go to a child pose position with or without bolster, and you rest the forehead for maybe half or 1 minute. Another important thing that you need to know is specifically for persons who have deviated disc. Now, if that's your case, you don't want to do bending forward. That is when you will feel more pressure. So avoid the child pose or any kind of movement where your spine go below the 90 degrees. But for you, it's very comfortable, and you should practice any kind of soft extension, back extension, like your cobras, like your upper dog, Urdhva Mukhas, Shalabhasana, your Locust pose, and other that I will explain right now. So after this, I will go to my belly on the floor. So make sure that you can be your whole body inside your mat. You rest on your belly. try to feel that you're stretching back both legs. Imagine that you raise one leg, someone is pulling it back, and then you rest again your instep in the floor. You do that with both legs, and then you bring your elbows exactly under the shoulders. Remember, the alignment is very important. So I want to have like an L shape in my hands. Now maybe this you feel, or you can just comfortably see it like if you were watching TV when you were a kid, but actually you need activation of your body to make sure that you're working with your spine. So what you need to do is, once that I have my fingers wide open, I want to feel that I'm pressing like my path of my fingers, and I pull the arms towards my pubic bone, and my heart wants to go to the front. I don't know if, I hope that you can see in the video, there's a very slight movement that I do with my forearms like this, and that will activate the sensation of your spine. You want to feel that the shoulder wants to go back, and don't allow your shoulders to collapse to the ears. You have to press with the forearms the floor, and then feel the effort of the shoulder that wants to go back. Now, very important to protect your spine is to feel that you're pressing your pubic bone to the floor. So it's actually the action of your sitting bones, your ischium bones, that want to go towards your heels. So I press the pubic bone, I pull with my forearms, my shoulder is turning back, and I'm going to slightly look front. Now there's also a very common mistake, or I don't want to say mistake, it's just a different variation that for me, what I have been taught and what I teach, I don't like when people look up, because your cervicals are part of your spine and you need to respect the normal curve. So when we say look up, try to have like a 45-degree angle gaze, or you focus on your third eye. It can be with open eyes, or it can be with eyes closed. So I feel the action, I stay here for 1 minute, and then I rest. If I want to go deeper, if I feel that my spine can curve a little bit more, what I do is I push with my hands in the same shape, in the same alignment. I push and I start straightening, and I still feel how I'm pressing strongly the pubic bone to the floor. I stop where I need to. It can be halfway, I can straighten completely, but again, don't allow the shoulders to collapse. All the time, you have to feel them far away from your ears. Now, to give a little bit of twist, we can do a variation. I can slightly bend one elbow. I will bend the left one so I can twist and look at my right foot. I can stay for 5 or 6 breaths. Then I come back to center, and then I twist to the other side, bending the other elbow. That will allow me to drop a little bit the right side of my chest and look to the other side. I can repeat this exercise, trying to go deeper by just getting my hands closer to my body, but still the pubic bone is on the floor. I'm not going to lift my hip from the floor. I can do the same. I straighten until I feel I'm comfortable, and then I can twist. I go back to center. I twist to the other side and go back to center. And I go back. The last exercise that I will do for the lower back is to strengthen in Shalabhasana. So the way that we start is still belly facing down. I'm going to bring my hands to my back, and I'm going to interlace the fingers. Now, for some people that have a little bit wider shoulders, it might be difficult to hold fingers. So if that's the case, we can use any kind of belt or cloth or towel. And once that we have held it behind our back, try to separate your hands until they are shoulder distance apart. Now, before going up, I want you to feel like if someone was pulling your arms back, the shoulders far away from the ears, and then I do the effort of lifting the chest. If I need to, I can stay with my legs down. If I want to go deeper, imagine that you want to raise your thighs. Don't imagine that you want to raise your foot or your leg, meaning the lower leg, because sometimes this happens and they bend the knee. So what you want to feel is the knee lighter and the thigh lighter, and we can stay. Try to hold it 5 breaths. We go back, or we can repeat every inhale, I go up. Every exhale, I go down. Every inhale, I go up. And we do a sequence of 10. To get out of the pose, Bring the hands next to the chest and you rest in child pose. It's very nice to feel a counter pose after a back extension. You go back and create some space between your vertebrae. Now for the middle back, I would like to show a couple of poses that you can easily do. I'm going to stay sitting on my mat with my legs to the front as a start. And for many people, especially if you have weakness on the back, it's very hard to sit with the spine straight and the legs to the front. Usually this happens. We get easily tired when trying to have that effort of your spine straight. So to do a comfortable sitting for weakness in the spine, when you feel that you're rounding your back, you can just sit in a towel or a blanket to put it just in the edge of your buttocks, but allow the rest of your leg to be out of the mat. And that will give you some kind of height, and when you have height on your hip, it's easier to keep your spine straight. So what I will do for middle back is a very common twist. I'm going to keep my right leg straight. I'm going to start with my right leg, and I'm going to bring my left foot towards me. Now, the way I like to teach is first feel that you're still flowing by your breath, even though it appears, or it may seem that your spine is still. So first I'm going to grab the front of my leg and use it to lengthen my spine. That way I make sure that my spine feels long and it's elongating towards the sky. Now, a very easy version is when I have my left hand back, I'm going to only hug my right leg with my left leg with my right arm. I say only hug because this is very easy to do for almost everyone. You might have seen another variation where the elbow is in the outside of the other leg. But that requires a little bit more flexibility of the spine because it is a deeper stretch. So I want to do basic poses that will help everyone. Once that I have hugged with my right arm, I will still work with the spine along with my breathing. Don't forget the activation of the right leg. You still want to push the heel to the front, the toes facing up, maybe some kind of openness in your toes. And once I'm here, every inhale, I will lengthen more the spine, and every exhale, I will use the strength of my arms to twist and open my left shoulder. Every twist also is followed by your neck, so make sure that you're looking at least left side, that you feel some kind of stretch, maybe even deeper over the left shoulder, in this case this side. So I want to stay here, try to stay 10 breaths. Every inhale, I lengthen. Every exhale, I do the effort and feel a deeper twist in my middle back. If I feel comfortable enough to go deeper, that is when I bring my right elbow to the outside of the leg. And then I use the strength of my arm to push a little bit my leg, and I will feel a deeper twist. You can use any position of hands that you like, but try to keep some energy in your hand. So you can even use your Gyan or Chin Mudra before I come back. And remember, we always have to do one side same amount of time that we did the other. So we change legs, we activate the left leg, we lengthen the spine, we start only hugging, the right arm goes back, every inhale I lengthen, every exhale I twist. I stay again, another 10 breaths. If I can go deeper, I bring my elbow and I use the strength of my arm to twist myself deeper. I can use again my Chin Mudra, Yan Mudra, and then I go back. To go to a neutral position, I do a Paschimottanasana. If I want to feel it very energetically, I bring my arms to the sky when I inhale. And when I exhale, I try to keep that length of the spine until I feel comfortable with, and then I lower my hands. If I cannot reach my feet with my hands, I can easily use a belt and use the strength of your arms and pull the belt. If I don't have a belt, you can simply rest your hands next to your legs and just allow your hands to walk as far as possible. Try to avoid rounding, and then there's like an intention of having the forehead to the knees. But when I do that, I'm rounding instead of lengthening, and what we want to do is to lengthen. So I will just feel that it's the chin that wants to go towards the ankles, and then I stay. It doesn't matter how far you go with your spine. So if it's your case that you're here, then respect where your body is. The next pose for lengthening the spine and to do some exercise for the middle back specifically, I'm going to use the chair. Any kind of chair that you use in your dining room that it has like the proper height for you sitting, to reach the feet on the floor, and to have a normal chair. So I'm going to bring a chair that we commonly use in yoga. So this is a chair that we will use. When you do it at home, I suggest to have the chair against the wall, because you will put some pressure and maybe you will slide the chair to the front. So the wall will help you to go farther and for you to move. I will use the leg in the chair inside the mat to avoid that to happen. What I will do is a preparation for a downward dog that will be very safe for my spine to lengthening the middle back, because I don't have too much weight in the front of my body. I will move it more to the back, to my legs. So I'm going to grab the chair with my fingers, except the thumb, or to the outside, or the thumb in the front part and the fingers at the sitting of the chair. Just try to find the most comfortable position for your hands. Once that I have held the chair, I'm going to start walking back slowly, step by step. And I can start with a little bit of bending knees, just feeling how I push the chair to the front, and I want to again separate the sacrum from the rest of my spine. I will feel not only the lower back, but also some openness of your shoulder. And we'll try to hold it minimum 2 minutes. You can go even deeper, bending more your legs, try to lower more your chest, or you can have your leg straightened on the floor. Apart from the downward dog that I just showed on the chair, that is very safe, if you're used to doing downward dog, it's also very good making sure that you're thinking of lengthening the center of your back. That's the hardest thing to do, so make sure that you have the proper alignment for your downward dog. And now moving a little along, showing some movements for your upper back. I will still use the chair now that I have it with me, and I will work with the muscle that it's in between my shoulder blades, your rhomboid, and the shoulder, because that's what causes the pain in your upper back. So the way that I'm going to use the chair is to place my elbows on top and then walk back so I can stretch the shoulder and in between my shoulder blade. So I'm going to place first my elbows. I will do it this side so you can show easily. I place my elbows. If you have any kind of pain, try to use the mat also on top of the seating of the chair, so you don't move your elbows and you don't find it painful for the bone. And then I'm going to walk back with my knees. I can start doing my Namaskarasana with my hands until my knees are exactly under my iliac bone. Notice how my forehead and my crown are very close to the seating of the chair. So avoid or do it carefully so you don't hit your forehead or the head on the seating. And then I just try to relax my chest and then allow my chest to go down. I can keep my hands in Namaskarasana, or I can keep one hand on top of the other and allow that deep stretch for your upper back, for your shoulder and your chest. It may be a little bit uncomfortable because it's a strong stretch, so stay until you feel fine. Remember that we try to enjoy the pain, but we don't bear the pain. So whenever your body is asking for you to get out, you slowly straighten a little bit your arms, walk your knees back closer to the chair, and then you get out of the pose. Another stretch and asana for your upper back, it's going to be Garudasana arms. I'm going to focus only on the arms. So you can stay in any sitting position that allows you to keep your spine straight. I'm doing Garudasana, but if it's uncomfortable for your knees and your ankles, you can use 1 or 2 blocks and sit, put it in between the ankles and then sit. That will allow you to stay for longer. So what I will do is I bring my arms in front of me, and I can start any way because either way we're going to switch. So I'm going to start with my right arm on top of the left one. I'm going to try to cross over my elbow, and then I'm going to bring my twisting of the forearms, just rounding the forearms until maybe, or I can touch the back of my hand, or maybe I can go deeper in and touch my palms. Now I want you to notice the position of my elbows. So this is the first movement that you do, but the intention that you want to feel is in the shoulder. And if I'm like this, I don't feel anything. So once that you have the position of your arms, you have to make sure that your elbow moves to the line of your chin. And then I strongly push the forearms to the front. Notice the movement of my shoulder. The forearms and the hands to the front, like the hands far away from your face. And without moving the elbow and the hands, I'm going to push the shoulder down far away from the ears. And when I do those 3 movements, I will feel a strong stretch in your rhomboid, in that muscle between your shoulder blade. We try to hold it 1 minute minimum. If you have long breaths, it's around 10 or 12 breaths. And then I switch to the other side. So I bring my left arm on top, cross the elbow, round the forearms, and once that I have my hands in the proper alignment, then I bring the elbows up, the hands and forearms to the front, and then the shoulders down. And I stay for another minute. I go down and I relax. The last asana that I will show for stretching your rhomboids and to work with the upper back, it's going to be again laying down. So I'm going to rest on my belly, and you will notice that it's a very similar pose than Garudasana, where I cross my forearms, because I still want to stretch that side of the shoulder and to keep my shoulder far away from the ear. So I will bring any arm, it can be the right one. I'm going to start with the right arm in front of the left one, and try to avoid the position of your hands where they are in front of your chest. You want them under your chest. Once that I have my elbows one in front of the other, what I will do is just walk the hands in opposite direction. So I just move the right hand to the left side and the left hand to the right side. Stretch, I stretch, I stretch until my body is telling me to stop. And then I just try to relax your neck and head. If you need to, you can place a block under the forehead and allow yourself to stay. I would recommend 3 minutes to really give your shoulder the time to stretch. And when you need to go back and to the other side, just activate a little bit your legs and your pelvic bone to feel your chest lighter. Come back to center. You switch arms. Again, make sure they're exactly under your shoulder, under your chest. And you do the same. You walk your hands opposite direction. You rest your neck. You rest your head. You stay the same amount of time, and then you go back to a neutral position. It can be Chavez. The next pose that I'm showing, for me it's a golden pose, because it will help you not only in different parts of your spine, but the whole spine. It also is very helpful because you don't need any mat, you just need a wall and a chair, and it is perfect for everyone. Even though you have any kind of injury or a condition in your spine, this will keep you very safe and will work great in your spine. So I will start by placing the chair against the wall so it doesn't move. And I'm going to have my toes almost under the seating. If I need help to raise one leg, I will start with my right leg and I will place it on top, more or less in the center of my mat. So notice the distance between the wall and my knee. I'm going to bring both hands to the wall for balance and for support. And I'm going to slowly first walk the hands to the front, higher to the wall. And then the effort here is to bring closer not only the knee, but push the hip towards the wall, push my chest towards the wall, push my forehead towards the wall, and try to go as high as possible with my hands. And you will feel right away the length of your spine, that actually that's the one that you should feel in your downward dog. But because in downward dog you're putting a lot of weight in your hands, we sometimes skip this length. So this one, it's all about lengthening. I stay here for minimum 1 minute, and to go down, I bring the hands lower. That way I can safely push myself. And I go to the other side. I step down with my right foot, the same position as the left one. I bring the left foot on top. Again, in the center more or less, notice the distance between my knee and the wall. And once that I start walking the hands to the front, then I bring the knee, my hip, my chest, and maybe the forehead. The hands cannot go any higher, but I still do the effort. I feel the length in the spine. I enjoy that very nice and especially very safe stretch. Again, anyone can do it. And then I slowly, after 1 minute, same amount of time, I push with my hands. I safely separate myself from the wall, and I step back. Thank you very much. Namaste.